How's it going, people? I'm hanging in there. I hope you're doing even better than that. I want to start off by thanking the Atheist Hub for mirroring my video and getting me a little bit more exposure. I've got, I don't know, I didn't count how many, but it looks like maybe 20 or 30 more subs. And I wanted to thank everybody who's new to this channel. And I hope this video doesn't chase you off. I'd hate to lose most of my new friends by reading this book, because it's sometimes entertaining, but often not. But it's an OCD thing. I have to finish. Haven't read this section in advance, so we'll find out about it together. Actually, it's just an excuse to drink, because this helps with the boredom and the pain. So anyway, I hope you will suffer along with me. Maybe it'll be a good section, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll be an entertaining one. There's been a few entertaining ones, and it is getting to the point where, the profiteer, Joey Jr., is starting to pull his land scheme shenanigans. So we must be getting near his martyrdom, where, well, anyhow, I'll leave some links below about his martyrdom. There's a video that tells the real story, the one that the Mormon people will admit to if you pin them down, because it's in their own history. But otherwise, I'll tell you the the Vincent Price version from Brigham Young Frontiersman, where he stands in the window and he goes, "Oh, just shoot me out the window. I'm just going to stand here and not shoot back with my hidden gun." Oh, that's nice. Let's hope this is too. And my new bookmarker, for the time being, until I think it's something entertaining to do with that. I'm thinking of going to the Capitol Christian Center, and, well, maybe they need to hear about this message. I'm sure they haven't. Just like no one else has, right? About this guy, what's his name, Jeebus? Something like that. Section 102 of the Doctrine and Covenants. And, oh boy, minutes of the organization of the First High Council of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at Kirtland, Ohio, February 17th, 1834. It's the minutes of a meeting. Oh, brother. I'm sorry in advance. I think this is probably going to be a dull one. Let's get through it. Crack a cold one if you got it. You're probably going to need it. 1. This day a general council of 24 high priests assembled at the house of Joseph Smith Jr. by revelation, and proceeded to organize the high council of the Church of Christ, which was to consist of 12 high priests and 1 or 3 presidents, as the case might require. 2. The High Council was appointed by revelation, like you said before, for the purpose of settling important difficulties which might arise in the church, which could not be settled by the church or the bishop's council to satisfaction of the parties. 3. Joseph Smith Jr., Sidney Rigdon, and Frederick G. Williams were acknowledged presidents by the voice of the council, and Joseph Smith Sr., John Smith, Joseph Coe, John Johnson, Martin Harris, John S. Carter, Jared Carter, Oliver Cowdery, Samuel H. Smith, Orson Hyde, Sylvester Smith, and Luke Johnson, high priests, were chosen to be a standing council for the church by the unanimous voice of the council. It had nothing to do with nepotism. Oh. 4. The above-named counselors were then asked whether they accepted their appointments and whether they would act in the office according to the law of heaven. Pretty lofty stuff there. To which they all answered that they accepted their appointments and would fill their offices according to the grace of God bestowed upon them through Joey, the voice box of God. 5. The number composing the council who voted in a name and for the church and appointed the above-named counselors were 43, as follows: 9 high priests, 17 elders, 4 priests, and 13 members. 6. Voted that the high council cannot have power to act without 7 of the above-named counselors, or their regularly appointed successors are present. Minutes, huh? Seems like hours. Their appointed counselors are present. Yeah, they don't have any power without them there. 7. These 7 shall have power to appoint other high priests, whom they may consider worthy and capable to act in the place of absent counselors. 8. Voted that whenever any vacancy shall occur by death, removal from office for transgression, or removal from the bounds of this church government of any one of the above-named counselors, it shall be filled by the nomination of the president or presidents and sanctioned by the voice of a general council of high priests convened for that purpose to act in the name of the church. 9. The president of the church, who is also the president of the council, is appointed by revelation and acknowledged in his administration by the voice of the church. 10. And it is according to the dignity of his office that he should preside over the council of the church, and it is his privilege to be assisted by 2 other presidents. Lesser presidents, I guess. He's got 2 VPs. Appointed after the same manner that he himself was appointed, and that's by revelation. 11. And in case of the absence of one or both of those who are appointed to assist him, because he's a busy man, he has power to preside over the council without an assistant. And in case he himself is absent, the other presidents have power to preside in his stead, both or either of them. 12. Whenever a high council of the Church of Christ is regularly organized, according to the foregoing pattern, it shall be the duty of the 12 counselors to cast lots by numbers, and thereby ascertain who of the 12 shall speak first, commencing with number 1, and so in succession to number 12. It's a good way to do it. 13. Whenever this council convenes to act upon any case, the 12 counselors shall consider whether it is a difficult one or not. If it is not, 2 only of the counselors shall speak upon it according to the form above written. One of those. Ah, 14. But if it is thought to be difficult, 4 shall be appointed, and if more difficult, 6. But in no case shall more than 6 be appointed to speak. 15. The accused in all cases has a right to 1/2 of the council to present himself, has a right to 1/2 of the council to prevent insult or injustice. This is brutal, folks. Sorry. I can hear you unsubbing right now. And that makes me sad. But I gotta finish. And I'm getting there. I really am. Maybe I'll be finished before I finish. Alright. 16. And the counselors appointed to speak before the council are to present the case after the evidence is examined in its true light before the council, and every man is to speak according to equity and justice. 17. Those counselors who draw even numbers, that is, wait for it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. I guessed right. Elementary. Are the individuals who are to stand up in behalf of the accused to prevent insult or injustice. 18. In all cases, the accuser and the accused shall have a privilege of speaking for themselves before the council after the evidences are heard. And the counselors who are appointed to speak on the case have finished their remarks. 19. After the evidences are heard, the counselors, accuser and accused, have spoken. The president shall give a decision according to the understanding which he shall have of the case, and call upon the 12 counselors to sanction the same by their vote. How democratic. 20. But should the remaining counselors who have not spoken, or any one of them, after hearing the evidence and pleadings, impartially discover an error in the decision of the president, by revelation, how can that be? They can manifest it if they dare. And the case shall be have a rehearing. 21. And if after a careful rehearing any additional light is shown upon the case, the decision shall be altered accordingly. 22. But in case no additional light is given, the first decision shall stand, the majority of the council having power to determine the same. 23. In case of difficulty respecting doctrine or principle, if there is not a sufficiency written to make the case clear to the minds of the council, the president may acquire and obtain the mind of the Lord by revelation. This is a work in progress, or at least it was. Gee, wasn't it the same way with Muhammad? You know? Hang on a second. I'm getting a message. We're going to do it my way. I mean, the Lord's way. Same way. By revelation. 24. The high priests, when abroad, have power to call and organize a council after the manner of the foregoing to settle difficulties when the parties or either of them shall request it. 25. And the said council of the high priest shall have power to appoint one of their own number to preside over such council for the time being. It's not usually this boring, I swear. 26. It shall be the duty of said council to transmit immediately a copy of their proceedings with a full statement of the testimony accompanying their decision to the High Council of the seat of the First Presidency of the Church. 27. Should the parties of either of them be dissatisfied with the decision of said council, they may appeal to the higher council of the seat of the First Presidency of the Church and have a rehearing, which case shall there be conducted according to the former pattern written, as though no such decision had been made. It's a do-over. 28. This council of high priests abroad is only to be called on the most difficult cases of church matters. Sorry, this is some gassy stuff. Of church matters, and no common or ordinary case is to be sufficient to call such council. Better be worth it. 29. The traveling or located high priests abroad have power to say whether it is necessary to call such a council or not. All very fascinating. 30. There is a distinction between the high council or traveling high priests abroad and the traveling high council composed of the 12 apostles in their decisions. 31. From the decision of the former, there can be an appeal, but from the decision of the latter, there cannot. There it is. 32. The latter can only be called in question by the general authorities of the church in case of transgression. So, 33. Resolved that the president or presidents of the seat of the First Presidency of the Church shall have power to determine whether any such case as may be appealed is justly entitled to a rehearing after examining the appeal and the evidences and statements accompanying it. Okay? Uh. 34. The 12 counselors then proceeded to cast lots or ballots, one or the other, to ascertain who should speak first. And the following was the result namely 1. Oliver Cowdery, a personal favorite. 2. Joseph Coe. 3. Samuel H. Smith. 4. Luke Johnson. 5. John S. Carter. No relation to John Carter from Mars, from the Edgar Rice Burroughs books. We're not dealing with fiction here. We're dealing with this shit. 6. Sylvester Smith. Possibly a relation. 7. John Johnson. No relation to Jeremiah Johnson, who was actually really named John Johnson. But the movie changed his name to Jeremiah because it sounded more snifty. And he used to eat people's livers, and not with fava beans. I'm sorry. Tangent there. I do digress. 8. Orson Hyde. I'm just trying to make this interesting. 9. Jared Carter. 10. Joseph Smith Sr. 11. John Smith. 11. Joseph Smith. 12. Martin Harris. There we go. After prayer, the conference adjourned. Oliver Cowdery, Orson Hyde, clerks. Counterfeit bill. Counterfeit gospel. Let me know if you learned something, and please share. Peace the fuck out. Have a wonderful whatever the fuck it is you're having. Sorry that wasn't very good. But I've had enough for one day. It's all I can stand. Bye.